Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of YouTube Take. I am your host, Big Rat J310 Crawford, with my two guests.
Stephen A. Baller here.
And yours truly, Philip Skip Bayless.
It's so
It's
nice.
like he groans every time he says Skip Bayless.
And I am Philip Bayless.
I'm old into the name now, might as well. Whatever.
Nice. So yeah, we're here to, bring you some great back and forth action. And I feel like I'm doing a show review. And we're going to get right to it. So our first topic of the day shall be the somewhat topical. This news just came out a few days ago. The Houston Texans lose Brian Cushing for the entire year due to a torn ACL. Basically, people are now wondering, what does this mean for their future? So, first, you, Markheem, how do you think the Texans are going to do without him?
I think the defense will be fine. I think they will kind of, even though the Ravens have taken a step back without Terrell Suggs, I think this would be kind of the same thing where they'll be solid, but like a lot of the big plays will now be gone. Like J.J. Watt has been the best player probably in the league this year.
Yep.
But Brian Cushing is needed for run stopping and things like that. Because the secondary, is kind of yeah. You know what I mean? So they kind of they're going to be missing the big plays behind the line of scrimmage. The emotional type. Because a big hit can just spark a team, and Cushing was like kind of the guy for that. So, they might not be as explosive as they used to, but I think they'll be fine. Are they still probably the favorites in the AFC anymore? I'm not sure about that anymore. But that is the Texans cannot catch a break. Last year was Schaub, now it's Cushing. Let's just hope it's no one else. Go ahead, Phil.
Okay. I was just making sure you were done. Obviously, like Markheem said, I think they'll suffer to a certain extent. My little thing is I was a little kind of worried after watching that Jets game. I'm like, I feel like the Jets is one of the worst offensive in the league, and they we're only able to beat them by 6. So it's like, ugh. And the only real test they've had outside of your Dolphins is Denver. Denver's obviously going to be there in the end. So I'm not saying and I'm not saying that Houston's not the best team in the league or whatever. But I'm just saying, the next 2 weeks is going to be crucial. They get Green Bay on Sunday night, and then they get Baltimore. So that's going to be the true test to see if this team without Brian Cushing can go out there and do it. I think they still got they still got J.J. Watt, who's just freaking unbelievable. Mason Sanchez looked like a worse than he already is. But I mean, I just think I want to see how they do against Green Bay and Baltimore. If they win.
But is that Green Bay game still a big game? I hate to cut you off, Phil.
No, it's not as big. No, right, I agree.
But because Green Bay, man, what's the deal, man? The no running game thing is a serious issue now. It needs to be fixed. They have to do something about this. Aaron Rodgers cannot pass 40 times a game and expect them to win. It's just not going to happen like that this year. It's not.
Right.
I think. Sorry to chime in there as well. I think to Phil's credit, Green Bay is still struggling, but they're still ahead of. If you look at the teams, legitimately, if you look at the teams the Texans have been playing, they're legitimately some of the worst teams in the NFL. The Jets, the Jaguars, Packers may be struggling, but they ain't at that level.
That's true. That is true.
Right. And definitely that Baltimore game. Definitely the Baltimore game.
That's my early Super Bowl pick. But go ahead.
How can that be a Super Bowl? Ah ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it's an AFC championship.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Ravens to get there.
Oh right. Oh, I got you. Yeah. They shouldn't have beat us, but I'm not gonna go on
that. Sorry, do you have more?
No, that's it.
All right. I think if I could just chime in very quickly, I think it's unfortunate that I'm saying this right now, and mind you, this is from someone who has picked the Texans to go to the Super Bowl since fucking January. All right? I remember in the offseason, in April, by draft time, I told people I'm picking the Texans to go to the Super Bowl next year, and people were like, huh? What? What? Like you don't mean the Patriots, you don't mean the Ravens, you don't mean the Broncos. Like those were the high caliber like Super Bowl picks. I've been picking the Texans to go to the Super Bowl for a long time now. So even though it's very unfair for me to say this, I think that now if they struggle against the really top teams, like when they play the Packers, when they play the Ravens, I think when they play the Patriots, they're playing the Patriots. When they do play the really top teams,
week 14.
When they do play the really top teams, and if they don't do well, everyone's going to automatically say, oh, well, they don't have Brian Cushing, as opposed to, well, they didn't really play the top teams before he was hurt. So how can we really be sure? And again, this is someone who still predicts them to go to the Super Bowl. I'm still sticking by that.
Even now?
Yes. I mean, because I still have
They were the only team. I said on record they're the only team I feared for my Patriots last year. Luckily, Schaub got hurt. But, I mean, I'm not.
Schaub doesn't get hurt last year, and they probably go to the Super Bowl.
Unfortunately, I have to admit that.
But there's also another side to it. I mean, someone else pointed out that they lost Mario Williams last year, and that didn't prevent them from making the playoffs. So who knows?
Yeah, because look at Mario Williams and the Bills.
And also, I really do think J.J. Watt is the MVP of the NFL right now. Me and Phil were talking about this on Twitter. It's either J.J. Watt or Matt Ryan, but I don't think they'll give it to J.J. Watt because the media is just so offense heavy, unfortunately, as unfair as it is. But man, that guy makes opposing quarterbacks look so bad. He makes guys.
I didn't believe it till that Jets game either. I didn't believe it till that Jets game.
Like when you see, people who have been playing that position for like 4 years in college and like however many years in the NFL, he makes them look so terrible at their job. Like he's so talented, but I do think it will hurt them. But I'm still predicting them to go to the Super Bowl. That's more of a knock on the AFC than it is on. I don't think they'll win the Super Bowl.
Who was that? Hey, I hate to cut you off, but who was that? Tom Jackson, I think, say he reminds him of a white Bruce Smith. That's hilarious.
That was fun.
Yeah, the AFC's just come down. I mean, they have the Ravens who don't have Suggs, who have they've been fine. But if you look at their past two games against the Chiefs and the Browns, and they could barely win those two against the Chiefs and the Browns, who I'm sure will come up in discussion later, and you have the Broncos, who they've had a brutally tough schedule. Falcons, their 3 losses are to the Falcons, Texans, and Patriots. I think they'll do well, but they also have issues on defense that make me suspect. And the Patriots, I really legitimately believe that Tom Brady will never win another Super Bowl. I'm almost confident in that. I just think that's the way history is going to be written. Like, I don't know.
Okay, go ahead, Phil.
All right, you said that on Twitter, and I left you alone, but I might have to say something on this one.
Go ahead.
Anyone could say stuff like that. Oh, I believe Peyton Manning will never win. If he never wins, I'm right. Like, that's no.
I just don't.
Why do you think that, kid? I'm just curious.
I think
that defense comes together, and that New England team is unstoppable. I just said that. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, the Cardinals proved to be such a tough feat. Because New England hasn't beaten anybody in the past 2 years. The past 2 years, they have almost no wins of any quality team. And they beat the Broncos, and I'll give them that. Because I really just...
Oh, no. Now I'm going...
I mean, look. Come on, man.
Really?
Oh, God, he dropped...
They haven't beat anybody? We beat the Ravens last year in the AFC Championship game, and you're not going to count that? That doesn't count?
Well, seeing as how you say we should have beat the Ravens for this fair regular season game, it's fair for me to call into question that the Ravens should have beat you guys in the AFC Championship game.
No, I'm just saying we should have won. We should have, but we didn't.
Okay, and but my point is that when this year when they played the really top teams like the Ravens and the Cardinals, they floundered. And last year, I mean, you look at their record. Last year, they had the easiest schedule in football. They went 13-3, beating teams that were 8-8 or worse. I'm just not convinced.
That is true.
No, that's true, but no,
not convinced.
You're taking it too far.
Plus, I don't see it.
I get his point though. I get his point about him like them beating up on weaker teams.
Well, I agree with that.
That's been their MO for like the past 2 years. So I kind of get what he's saying.
And honestly, here, Markheem, do you see them, even without Brian Cushing, do you see them beating the Texans?
The Patriots?
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know about that one, but
and we already saw them lose to the Ravens.
If they do what they did in that Denver game, they will. Texans won't stand a chance.
But the Texans.
Now, I don't know if that's going to be their strategy in the game
until J.J. Watt makes Tom Brady look like he was actually a 6th-round quarterback.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Like, no one gets to the quarterback better than J.J. Watt. What's been Tom Brady's weakness? Why have the Giants been able to beat him? You know what I mean?
That's true. Well, that's a valid point. We'll see if he can get to him. We'll see.
We'll talk. This is all speculation.
Like Tom Brady goes from being Joe Montana to Gus Frerotte when he gets the.
No, I don't want to say no.
I'm playing, Phil. I'm playing.
I was like, you're gonna make me go off now because that fool just kept like. I'm not.
All right. Next up, we'll move to college football now in a little bit. A very notable weekend. Markheem, would you say it was like the most notable weekend of the year so far, as far as results go?
It was clearly the biggest weekend in all of college football.
All right. Let's talk first about what was considered a pretty big upset. FSU losing to NC State 17-16. Thoughts, Markheem?
All right, you want me to go or you want
you start? You start.
You go ahead. I don't really have nothing to say.
Here is the thing. This is why I love college football, because FSU came in there expecting to destroy NC State, and for most of the game, defensively it was beating the hell out of NC State. The thing was that the offense wasn't putting touchdowns on the board. Drives were getting cut short. Niggas was fumbling the ball, shit like that. You know what I mean? And then when the game went towards the end of the game, it was fucking close. And then NC State pretended like that was their national title game, because essentially it was. And FSU let them hang around, and that's what they deserve. You know, I don't feel bad for them kids at all. And I'm proud, because NC State is a very talented team. They only have 2 losses on the season, 1 ACC loss. To be honest with you, if they go undefeated in conference play for the rest of the season, they could play for an ACC title. You know what I mean? The ACC is a weak conference though, but that said a lot about FSU's not talent, but you know, mentally how that team is. I think right now, to be honest with you, of the big 3 in Florida, of, you know, Florida, Miami, Florida State, I think mentally they are the weakest, to be honest with you, because if they're not beating up on someone, they don't handle it well, and it showed. It showed in that game, because they should have been scoring touchdowns instead of kicking field goals and drives getting stopped short by mental mistakes. And then at the end of the game, it all just fell apart, and it was just beautiful to watch. It was beautiful. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, I was going to say, there's not much I could say. I didn't see that coming. I don't know much about NC State, so I can't really say, but I did think that offense for Florida State was overrated from the get-go. But
I told everybody EJ Manuel can't throw. And then remember I said that?
When I watched the Clemson game, I just felt like that defense is what is going to be what carries them.
But you know what I noticed about Clemson, about that game? Clemson has a weak secondary, and the way they look the rest of the season, you know, that just confirmed what I thought. I was like, is EJ Manuel this good, or is the secondary weak? Because he looked.
Last year.
He looked amazing. EJ Manuel can't throw. He can't. But I mean, last year Clemson had a better secondary. It's different this year, but like it's ridiculous. He looked amazing against that team, but looked awful against NC State. It's just crazy.
There's no consistency there, right?
Like he is their Logan Thomas. And I'll get to him later on. I'll get to him later on. Just brace yourself for that. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about the FSU game. What else in this topic?
Florida. Let me first say, NC State's only other ACC loss is to the only undefeated team in the ACC, your Miami Hurricanes.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, all about that.
We're undefeated in the ACC. That
I was about to say, I was like, they lost last week.
We'll get to that.
UF. I actually watched this whole game. UF LSU. Thoughts, Markheem? UF. Oh, by the way, wait. I should preface as a moderator. UF went into this game ranked. What, Markheem? Was it 9?
Nah, 10th.
They were ranked 10th. LSU was ranked 3. And UF won 14-6, and UF is now the number 4 team in the country. Or no, 3, right?
No, they're 4.
No, 4.
All right,
South
4.
Carolina.
4. All right, go ahead. Give your thoughts, please.
I told everyone, even coming into the season, LSU is number 2 when they were ranked number 2 and number 3, 2 and 3, solely because of last season. Without no Tyrann Mathieu, there are no big plays that were there were games last year where he won them by himself. No Tyrann Mathieu. They were never very good on offense. I told everyone to win this year, they will have to score points. They cannot score points. I actually thought, to be honest with you, Florida will beat them worse than they actually did. The thing is that LSU has a national title defense and a JV high school football offense. They only run about 3 plays. And when the 3 plays don't work, they try and pull out trick plays, and those don't work. And what's his name? Mettenberger, he has to make actual reads. Like he can't just look down a receiver and throw it deep. It's just not gonna work. You know what I mean? For them to win in the SEC, you have to understand how to beat a defense. And he doesn't. He just looks towards his tall guys and throws them the ball. Hold on.
I'm not stopping the recording.
You're not.
Phil, want to give some quick thoughts before he gets back?
I try to before he gets back, but I just want to say, I was with Markheem. We both picked Florida last week. After seeing a lot from LSU more before this game, and then I watched. I was able to see most of this game, and Florida didn't play to the level I thought they were going to play, but LSU played to that level, and Florida just did enough to win. And that's why, that's all I got to say about that. Florida won like I thought they would. So,
I saw the game. Florida looked really impressive for the most part. LSU, I've never seen such an anemic offense. Like, legitimately, I legitimately thought that I, as a quarterback, could do a better job. I was watching this game, and I believe I tweeted, like, holy fuck, this team just can't score. It's not even that they can't score, they can't connect. They can't even gain any sort of viable momentum to put them in a position to score points. It's legitimately that bad. And they dropped big. They went from 3 to 9, and honestly, it shows it's pretty deserving. So yeah, that's all I really got to say on that.
The only reason it wasn't worse than that is because they didn't get blown out. Like, I think if they would have lost by 2 touchdowns, they wouldn't be in the top 10. And I think everyone needs to wake up now. Florida's for real, because they've been overachieving all season. People thought this was gonna be next year when they were gonna be doing this. I think they are for real.
I've been trying to tell people in my state that, but they won't listen.
Gillislee, if he leaves the SEC in rushing, he may be in New York for the Heisman ceremony. I don't know, but he has been an animal. And Driscoll looks like, dare I say, but in terms of being a leader, dare I say, Tim Tebow-esque. If you just look at him in the huddle and you look at his body language and things like that, you can tell he is the leader of that team, and he is so young. And before, people were wondering, did they who's going to be the quarterback, things like that. Well, now we know, I am petrified of that team, especially in the swamp. I don't think they can be beat there, to be honest with you.
Well, I guess that means that's love for you, right?
Unless one thing happens, and we'll get to that later.
Let me also say that I have a lot of friends.
Oh, hold on, time out. What were you saying, Phil?
I guess that should be my new love toy then, right? I'm Bayless, right?
Driscoll.
Should I jump on now? Should I jump on now before he gets in?
Wait till next season. Let's see what he does.
You should. Go ahead. But don't try to be like Skip Bayless, who I think was saying that he heard about Tim Tebow in the 9th grade. Yeah, don't buy that.
No, I did too. He was pretty heavily recruited.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
probably true. That's probably true. I mean,
ninth grade. I knew him. I knew him junior year, but not ninth grade.
Like, oh no, people were talking about how big and physical he was then. Like, I was hearing about him for a long time.
Okay. So basically, being from Miami, I do have a lot of friends that go to UF. I think that's why, because I used to hate them my whole life, but now that I have a lot of friends that go there, I kind of, want to see them do well. So I watch the games now and cheer them on. Not when they play the Canes, which won't happen until 2013, but actually next year, yeah. But when they play against other SEC teams, I like to root for them. And I have friends telling me that the UF games are like no other experience whatsoever. You can't think. You are just in a massive noise the whole game.
I can attest to that. I went to the Swamp when Spurrier was coaching. They played Tennessee, the loudest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I went to 2 ECW shows, and I'm telling you, it's the loudest thing you will ever experience in your life. Like it's like I wear glasses. My shits were rattling. That's how loud it was. It was crazy. Because the stadium is like kind of small and intimate. Yeah. It's only about 67,000 people that it holds. I think something like that. And it's just so loud. It's like the noise just gets trapped in there. And it's not a dome. It's a stadium. It's just so loud.
Now we move on to UM falls again. This was Markheem, I'll let you start off, and then I'll give my concluding thoughts.
Oh man, I think that they started inefficient, like on offense, and I was like, the thing is, what they needed was to play a similar performance to the end of that Georgia Tech game. They needed to be something similar to that. It said they needed to start quick and kind of play on a high note the entire game. But that showed me right there. It's more so how good Notre Dame is. Like, I think now is the time to wake up because Notre Dame's front seven is probably the best in the country. Mentateo, I think, especially after the abysmal performance Jarvis Jones put on last Saturday, I don't think I heard his name once against South Carolina. I don't think they said his name one time. Teo is the best in the country. At the college, I think at the pro level, Jones would be better, but I think at the college level, right now, Teo is the best in the country. And I think they can stop anybody. You know what I mean? Because, what's his name? Steve Morris, right? It's Steve Morris. Yeah. He was, coming into that game, you could argue statistically, or you can't. It's not even an argument. Top 5 in the nation at the time, and I'm sorry, kid. And they totally rattled him, and a lot of it had to do with Teo. I think it's not really an indictment on Miami because they're young, and in a few years, I think they'll be what the kid wants them to be, But I just think it's more so how for real Notre Dame is. And let me talk about Brian Kelly. What a bullshit punishment for that was stupid. Like they sat him for 2 series. Why even do that? You just talk to him. Like, that was stupid. But yeah,
bad.
That was dumb. But yeah, Phil, you got anything to say?
Not much. I was glad to see that Golston got to play. That's all I care about.
I think this does speak a lot to how good Notre Dame is, but I also think it's the second time in a row we play an elite team, and we don't just lose; we fall to shamble. I really do think these kids get intimidated. I really do think they mentally fear the other team to the point that they don't play well. I mean, these two teams are great, but 51-13, 41-3. I mean,
is youth, kid. They're so young.
They are young. I think we have. I don't know if it's the most, but it's up. I think I saw we're like top 8 as far as having the most freshmen on our roster.
Freshmen and sophomores. Yeah. I know it's a lot of sophomores. I know that. Like, I think there's only like 3 or 4 seniors on the entire team or some shit like that.
It's Mike James. Perryman, I think, is a junior. I could be wrong on that. fuck, what's his goddamn name? Brandon McGee, I think is another senior.
Yeah, he's the same.
I'm missing someone.
Or at least it seems like he didn't been there forever. So yeah.
But basically, they're young, but at the same time, I mean, I really do think they face these top teams and they mentally just get scared because they can. As good as Notre Dame is, I mean, UM's better than to put 41-3, man. I mean, as bad as our defense is, and our defense is it's pretty horrible. I think we average like 35 points a game, something like that, which is just goddamn. That's almost asinine when you hear that number. But I mean, I knew we would lose, but I thought mentally we broke down again. But
I thought it'd be really. As I said on the show last week, I thought they'd lose by a touchdown.
Yeah,
and I was wrong. But no, I got to stop. Pretty much every big game this season, minus the Michigan game, I picked Notre Dame. Every big game they had. I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. I mean, I picked against Notre Dame. I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. To be honest with you, that team is legit.
Yes. Yep. All right, now we go to South Carolina, who beat Georgia this week to go up from, what was it, 6-4 or 5-4?
They were sixth and not at third.
No, it was 6-3. Phil, start us off. Your Gamecocks.
I couldn't believe that they were able to just like manhandle Georgia. I thought the game was going to be close to South Carolina. South Carolina hasn't done that. Like, I follow them.
Both ways. Like Georgia and South Carolina is always close.
They don't but they don't do that. They don't go out there and cream top SEC teams when they play them most of the time. Even if they win, they don't go out there and cream them. That's like Gamecock football. But like for them to do that, like that was just huge. And we'll talk about the game they have this weekend. But I just couldn't believe they did it. I have to be honest. But Markheem can go into a more play-by-play type deal. But
okay, I told everyone when Michael Bennett got hurt, I said they will not score a touchdown. I knew it would. You saw when they got in the red zone and they went for it on fourth. Did you see that field? They went for it on fourth.
Yeah.
And they just didn't know what to do because usually that's lob it to Michael Bennett. He'll jump up and catch it. That's usually what happens there. He makes Aaron. People said that Aaron Murray was the best quarterback in the SEC. I know y'all all heard that coming into this season. That dude makes him look a lot better than he is. And that offensive line got exposed because Jadeveon Clowney was doing whatever he wanted. Whatever he wanted. And
you can't do that. You can't allow him to do that.
Because to me, he's the best defensive lineman in the country. I mean, I think in terms of NFL upside, he's off the charts. He really, like, I was talking about J.J. Watt looking like a white Bruce Smith. He looks like Bruce Smith. Like, he's athletic just like him. He has like the upper body strength of Reggie White too. That dude is scary. I mean, like, he is scary good. In terms of prospects at defensive line, he's the LeBron James of defensive linemen. Seriously, he's that. Like, when he was coming out of high school, my brother actually had to go to a camp with him, and he said that is the scariest person he ever had to stare down in his life. So just put like that dude. He at the freshman level, he was like Adrian Peterson. He was already ready for the NFL, and he manhandled Georgia all game. Aaron Murray looked terrible because he had no time to throw. Though what's the name? Gershel, Todd Gurley, and the other guy, I forget his name, but they both just look like amateurs. I know they're both freshmen, but they look like amateurs. That team got exposed. The offense that was averaging so many points got exposed. Jarvis Jones looked confused because Steve Spurrier totally outcoached Mike Rick. And I'm going to say it right fucking now. With the talent on Georgia's team, with all those skilled players, Mike Rick's job should be in question because they underachieve. Something always happens with this team, and somehow this dude always keeps his job. No, now is the time. This team has been pedestrian for too long. Now is the time they should think.
Both these teams do it.
I mean, but at least there's an excuse for Spurrier. Before Spurrier came, they never got the recruits that they have now.
Right.
You know what I mean? There is an excuse. There is no excuse for Mike Rick every single year to do nothing with this Georgia team. Now is the time to look elsewhere.
It is now time. But South Carolina, we'll talk about the next game they have, but they showed me a lot. If they play, they're a totally different team away from Williams-Brice, though. I think a lot of people need to realize that. I think a lot of South Carolina fans, because I'm from Columbia, all need to calm down because that team looks totally different when they go on the road. Yeah. But we'll talk more about them later in the show.
All right. So basically, that concludes the Gamecocks. Next, we go to our next topic. Who is the worst team in the NFL? Philip, start us off here.
Want me to start off?
Well, yeah, I went to Markheem twice. Okay. Now I'm going to you twice. Do you not want to start off?
The worst? No, I'm good. The worst team in the NFL?
Yep.
The Cleveland Browns. They have to be the worst. I mean, you can't. You can make an argument for certain teams, but Cleveland has no wins. A team that gets a win, you can't. I mean, you can't. I don't know. I'll just say the Cleveland Browns because they just. No, I mean they did. I mean they were questionable. I mean they were in the game against the Giants or whatever. I'm not saying that they're leagues under. They're far above the worst team, but I do think that the Cleveland Browns are the worst team in the league.
Markey?
Don't say the Eagles, Markey.
I mean, no, I'm not. Because we don't suck. Mike Vick just sucks. To be honest with you, I would say the Browns, but they remind me a lot of the 0-16 Lions because that 0-16 Lions team, they lost a lot of close games.
Right.
And that's who they remind. Like, I didn't have the heart to say, even though they didn't win any games, I didn't have the heart to say they were the worst team in the NFL because there were teams that year just getting creamed. So I would honestly say, who is this? Look, me by just the eye test, me just watching and looking bad, probably Jacksonville because they, like, just watching them, they look horrible. I would say the Chiefs, but Jamal Charles is the best running back in NFL to me right now. That's just right now. So I don't know. So I guess I'll say Jacksonville. Even though I hear what you're saying, Phil, with Cleveland not having any wins, but they just really remind me of the 0-16 Lions,
Like I said, they're not that far off. I mean, obviously, I would definitely Jacksonville would be my next team, but.
Because they just look so bad. Right. So I guess I go with them.
But they both are kind of, if you look at them, they're both kind of similar. I mean, you have Jacksonville, who their big guy. I mean, their only shining armor is Maurice Jones-Drew, where the Browns are pretty. Trent Richardson, might be their only shining armor.
No, the defense is good though.
The defense isn't bad. I'm not gonna.
The secondary is actually really good, but
Joe Hayden, yeah, he's really good.
I fully agree with Vincent Verhey of the Brian and Vinny Show. I was all ready to come in here and say the Tennessee Titans, but
I forgot about them. They won tonight.
But yeah, they beat the Steelers tonight, so that's a little harder to justify.
They beat the Steelers without Troy Polamalu, which isn't that hard.
The Steelers.
That's also true.
The Steelers have been plagued with injuries, but they still managed to beat the Eagles. Like I think. Wait,
Michael Vick.
Yeah, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Is this the time? We're gonna do it now?
Sure, do it now. Do it now.
2 turnovers by your own fucking goal line. Mike Vick, you're being paid $100 million, dude. And hold on, let's talk about off the field for a second. Y'all want to know something this dude actually did today? Or was it today or yesterday? He bought a dog. Why in heaven's name would you of all people buy a dog? You, no disrespect, Phil, but white people already don't like you for killing these dogs, dude. Like he went on a killing spree, killing people. You shouldn't say the word dog. You shouldn't have a picture of a dog. You shouldn't say the word God because it's dog backwards. Anything that involves dog.
That's a good one.
He didn't even own a Bible. Like he just no, dude. $100 million, $100 million, and he is terrible. This is what we get from this man. Didn't he throw a pick too? Not only fumbles, but didn't he throw a pick? That's 3 turnovers, right?
No, he didn't throw a pick. I don't think, did he?
It don't matter. 2 is enough.
Yeah, he has 11 turnovers and
11. How many games are we? We ain't even
And people always complain about Tebow starting.
5.
Exactly. Mike Vick, in terms of turnovers, is just as bad as Tim Tebow throwing the ball. Like, Tim Tebow just throwing the ball, but at least he took care of the fucking ball. Dude, you're $100 million, you can't even take care of the ball? See, I remember when Drew Brees was throwing like 20 picks a season, but Drew Brees would give you 35 touchdowns. Mike Vick ain't gonna do that. Like, so fuck this dude. Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him. Go ahead, kid.
All right, that was awesome.
Mike Vick is no Brett Favre. Let's just go ahead and throw that.
Your weekly Markheem Mike Vick rant.
And you know what? I always say Brett Favre was slightly overrated because of the picks. But to be honest with you, at least he gave you touchdowns.
That's what I said. Yeah, I mean, with your brief.
Touchdowns. He's not going to turn the ball over and give you no points in return. Mike Vick does this. Well, how many touchdowns he has? What, 7? 6 or something like that? 7?
Yeah, I think it's 6.
It's fucking ridiculous. Go ahead, kid. Go ahead.
Well, I think
6, by the way.
I think if anyone wants me to prove my point on that this is the most competitive year ever, well, in a while for the NFL, you can't look no further than the Steelers. As injured as they've been, and they've been really injured the whole season. That I think makes it better. They've been really injured. They've lost Harrison at some games. They lost Mendenhall for a few games. They lost Palomalu, Ryan Clark at various times. They've been injured and they've been on and off.
They almost ran out of offensive linemen tonight.
But look at it. They lose.
Wow.
They lose.
Yeah, did you hear about that?
No.
They almost ran out. They only dressed 7. They almost ran out.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's been pretty bad. That team has been ridiculously plagued with injuries. But through all that, they beat the Eagles, lost to the Raiders, lost to the Titans, and where's their other? They lost to the Broncos. And where else is their other win from? I'm trying to. Oh, and they beat the Bengals. No.
No. Oh.
Oh wait, they're only. No. I'm just trying to remember who they're.
I know that you had the losses right tonight.
I'm looking at the
Broncos.
win. The win is my point. The win is the point.
They had 2 wins. Hold on, I'm clicking on these.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It was week 2, I believe. No, week 2 they lost to the Raiders. No, week 2.
It was the Jets.
Okay. They beat the Jets.
The 2 awful collapses.
So even with all these plagued injuries, they managed to get a big win over a high-ranked team, and they managed to lose to 2 of the worst teams at the same time. So I think I was going to say the Titans. I was ready to say the Titans. I'm actually leaning more towards the Raiders. I
forgot all about them.
The Raiders, because the Chiefs, the Chiefs had that victory over the Saints, but we know how the Saints are. But they kept it close with the Ravens. Don't get me wrong, they got blown out by the Bills, and they got blown out by who was it that they played? Was it the Niners?
That's all you need to say right there. They got blown out by the Bills.
But I really do think the Raiders just don't have a lot going for them right now. Still a pretty decent team. I'm actually not a Carson Palmer hater at all, actually. But I just compare them to the Titans, to the Browns, to the Chiefs, to the Jaguars. I don't know. I have more faith. I mean, Jacksonville, as bad as they've been, they beat the Colts, which at the time wasn't that impressive. But looking back, maybe it was more than it was. And people don't seem to forget this. They went to overtime with the now 4-1 Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, I forgot about
that.
That
was week 1, yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
So, like I could see positives from them. The Raiders, they're just another one. They get blown out by the Broncos. As much as it pains me to say this in a joking manner, they get blown out by the Dolphins. They managed to pull that win over the Steelers, but honestly, they just look so unimpressive every other week. With the Browns, with the Chiefs, with the Browns, with the Chiefs, with the Jacksonville, you see flashes. Oh, they were close with the Vikings. They were close with the Ravens. They were close with the Ravens. You see something. With the Raiders, you don't see anything. Every time they play, they're just getting murdered.
I can't say anything bad about the Chiefs, man. They got Jamal Charles. That guy. I love that guy. I love him since Texas. That dude is a monster.
And,
go ahead.
I still hate him.
For the record, before the show, we predicted we would all probably have a different answer, and we actually did. All right.
The case can be made for all 3, to be honest with you.
All right. Now, the Miami Dolphins. Let me preface this a little bit because there is no rant from me this week. Also, we should note that last week on the show, I was the only one that predicted the Dolphins would win. Just saying. And there's been a lot of talk. You see, because my Dolphins, after being the most undercovered team in the NFL, I would say the past 5 years, the Dolphins, after their win over the Bengals.
Well, hold on. I just thought about this. Hold on. Kid. I just thought about this.
What?
I remember when you said that. What about the Chiefs?
What do you mean? Oh, like more
undercover team in the
than the
NFL? What about the
Dolphins?
Chiefs?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think now maybe, but like 2 years ago, the Chiefs were in the playoffs. Last year, not last year, but 2 to 3 years ago, you had Jamal Charles. Like he was a big, like a high impact player. Before we got Reggie Bush, you probably couldn't even name another player in the Dolphins. And I don't think Reggie Bush. I don't think Reggie. Oh, and Dwayne Bowe's another one. And I don't think Reggie Bush last year.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
I don't think Reggie.
I was gonna say you can make a.
You can make a case for what?
I think you can make a case for the Rams as being the most.
Oh yeah, them too. Yeah.
Again, though,
they had a bunch of injuries last year, and no one ever even cared to even think about it.
But
no one realized that they had the most in the league.
The fact that the NFL ranked the Dolphins the worst team in the NFL before the season started tells you that they just don't watch. Like, they legitimately do not. They watched 0 Dolphins games the previous year. Legitimately 0. Because anybody could have told you that our defense was going to shape up to be one of the better ones in the NFL. That our running game was really top-notch. That our run defense was spectacular. That our wide receiving core, while not flashy, was still solid and gets the job done and can become productive names with a quality quarterback, as Brian Hartline and Devon Bess are doing. All you have to do is watch more than a few games to think that this may not be the worst team in the NFL. At least with the
Ryan Tannehill, man. Yeah. I'm still shocked. Still shocked.
So we got but anyways, the Chiefs, the Rams, the Dolphins. I understand. Most undercovered, I can understand. Arguments for all three. My point is, all of a sudden, last week we beat the Bengals, a 3-1 team, a considered a playoff team. We beat the Bengals, and now people are legitimately saying, "Oh, Tannehill's developing. Oh, the Dolphins might have a chance at a wild card. Oh, the Dolphins are probably the second best team in the AFC East." After these motherfuckers either refused to talk about this team or just blatantly talked out of their ass because they knew nothing about this team for weeks and weeks, now they decide to all of a sudden praise them for a successful victory over the Rams. And if you look at our schedule, I will actually read off. I will read off the schedule here in a little bit for the Dolphins for the next few weeks. Before the season, we were told we would have one of the easiest ones in the NFL. Next we play the Rams, then we have a bye, then we play the Jets again. This time without Holmes, without Revis. Or, I guess, no, Revis got hurt that game, I believe. They won't have Holmes, though. Then we play the Colts, which will be a very interesting game. Then the Titans. Then the Bills. Then the Seahawks. Patriots, 49ers. Then Jacksonville. Then Buffalo. Then the Patriots again. Aside from the 49ers game, I legitimately mean just the 49ers game. Is there any game on the schedule the Dolphins can't win?
They can't. They can't win both New England games. But
okay, I'll give you that.
Phil.
No, they can. No, I'm saying they can't win both.
Oh, okay.
No, they can win one. They've always done that.
So if you look at the schedule, Jets, Colts, Titans, Bills, Seahawks, Patriots, Niners, Jacksonville, Buffalo, and Patriots again. It's a pretty fairly easy schedule for us.
You better watch out for the Bills, man.
And I better basically, my point is, how do you two guys see the Dolphins moving forward?
What you asking me? Do I think they'll make the playoffs?
More like how you think of them beating the Bengals, playoff possibility, stuff like that.
You asking me like, could they finish in the? You saying could they make the playoffs in general?
Possibly.
It is possible because the AFC this year it's more competitive. I won't say weak, but it's more competitive, and I think if they go 9-7, possibly, maybe even 8-8, they can sneak in. You know, it could happen. You know, because as the kid said, all the games are winnable. You know, they're not facing any mighty teams going forward. You know, minus one of the Patriots games, they can win all them games. You know, so I don't know.
And I mean, the Vikings beat San Fran, so you never know.
I mean, but you know, are the Vikings really that good though? Do we really know?
Yeah, That's what I wanted to talk about. That.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
Phil, as a fellow AFC East compadre.
Well, I mean, like you said, I mean, you heard me say. I mean, I don't. People that don't know the AFC East will be like, if the Patriots lose the Dolphins, they're like, Patriots, stop. But they don't watch the AFC East if you don't, if that's the case, because the AFC East is, I think once I looked this up a couple of days ago, but I think once the Patriots have gone undefeated in the division, so and that was when they went 16-0. So I mean, that's just the whole thing about that. But I think the Dolphins with the AFC, like Markheem said, it's more competitive. You know, I've said weak before, but you know, you could say more competitive. That makes sense. But you know, I think the Dolphins have a chance. Will they? Yeah, I can't predict that. It's just with the AFC, that last wild card spot is too open right now. Unless Tebow starts for the Jets, of course. But
do you think 9-7, 8-8 is out of the question?
No, I don't think. I definitely don't think 8-8 is out of the question. So.
For 8-8 for us to go,
but to make the playoffs at 8-8, that's hard to say right now. But I'm not saying it can't happen. It's just it seems like 8.
My point is, and who knows, maybe 8. As Markheem always says, 9. You can go 9-7 and win the Super Bowl.
9-7 and win the Super Bowl. So.
In the NFC. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
you're right. Heaven.
For us,
twice, 7-9 in the NFC.
For us to go worse than 8-8, we have to lose 6 of these games against the Jets, Colts, Titans, Bills, Seahawks, Patriots, Niners, Jacksonville, Buffalo, Patriots, and honestly, I don't see us losing 6. Like,
and to be honest. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that I can maybe I could see both New England games, San Fran and Seattle, but like that's honestly it, and that's not 6.
Another point that you could make, and this is from a Patriots fan, if they somehow get that win in Week 13, that Week 17 game might not matter for the Patriots. It might matter for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, they might
could essentially sweep us. I hate to say that. Good gracious.
Yeah, Patriots might not be playing for anything at that point. So that's true.
So yes, this is us just trying to educate you folk who don't know a lot about this team.
No, that's just you trying to.
Yeah,
don't say us. That's you.
Did you take part in this discussion at all? Yes.
Yeah, so we took part.
Shut up.
Whose idea though was it, kid?
All right, it doesn't.
I'm just messing with you, man.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect the host. All right, now we go to our Hall of Fame discussion. We've wanted to do this actually for several weeks. We just never really had time, like within our schedule, to work it out. But there are a lot of players that we feel should be in the Hall of Fame, and there are a lot of well-known players, well-known of Hall of Fame misses that are not in the Hall of Fame that a lot of people think should be in. So before we have a list, and we're going to go over each guy, a pretty famous, quote-unquote, not in the Hall of Fame guys. But before I do, I want you two to both, if you can, just give one guy already off the top of your head that the fact that he's not in is just asinine before we even look at the list. Markheem?
Chris fucking Carter. For years, this dude was was he a possession receiver? Probably. Was he a big play guy? No. But for years, in terms of numbers, he was the second best dude in the league. Jerry Rice was constantly the best guy in the league. For years until they drafted a guy by the name of Randall Moss. Before that, he was the second best receiver in the league for a long time. A long time. The fact that this man is not in the Hall at this moment is really disgusting. It's like the baseball Hall of Fame right now. And there's a reason why that's like that, the steroids and all that, but I ain't going to get in that. But anyway, it's just crazy to me. In terms of catches, and before like Randy Moss and T.O. started going nuts, and I think Marvin Harrison too, in terms of catches and yards and touchdowns, he was like second to Jerry in everything. That is crazy. That is stupid. That is ridiculous. Go ahead, Phil.
Well, that's my pick too, Chris Carter. I do want to say this though. I think I know why he's not in it, because of his mouth. That shouldn't be. I mean, that shouldn't be a reason. This is just. I mean, we should talk about. keep it to football, but that's the reason he's not in right now, because he's kind of made a scene about it. But
hell, Lawrence Taylor did crack, and he in the fucking Hall. Bullshit.
Right, but that's the day and age now. It's like, if they talk off the field, which has a place when they play, but when they're done, I mean, just don't talk about it. It doesn't matter.
I don't even think it matters when they play. Like Charles Barkley straight up said, he's not a role model. I don't do this for the children, and he's one of the best players ever. It's crazy to me. Crazy.
I guess it depends. Yeah. I mean, I see your point, though, Markheem. But yeah, I got Chris Carter too. That's the only one I can. That's just the first name that comes up.
All right, now we have a list. You guys have probably, if you've seen any, I've seen quite a few Hall of Fame, not in the Hall of Fame TV shows, and a lot of these names, if you've seen any of them, will probably sound familiar because they come up a lot. Okay, first up, Chris Carter. I think
we just talked about it.
Yes.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Next up, Ricky Waters.
Ricky Waters is what's Seattle for the longest, right? Seattle for the longest.
Yeah.
He was another guy, like maybe not the flat. Like if someone like Curtis Martin isn't, even though his numbers are better than his or whatever, he was considered for the longest one of the most reliable guys in the NFL. And that was just like his reputation. A lot of big games, like big moments on Sundays and things like that. A lot of if you seen like a lot of highlight tapes, like guys hurdling people and juking people, that was Ricky Waters. Like a lot of those highlights. I think that in terms of him being a Hall of Famer, it's close. I feel like his numbers are like up there with some of the players that have been in, but I don't think he doesn't have a Super Bowl, does he? No,
yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
With who?
With the Niners. He played with the Niners from 91 to 94.
Oh yeah. So he was. Yeah. You're right, kid. So I mean, I would say he's one of those guys that are really close. I would say I'd put him in, but I'd understand if someone didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say that a lot of these players I didn't get to see play, and I don't know a lot of these players, so I'm not even going to try to act like I know anything. So y'all just listen to Markheem on the most.
I just know that I got to see a lot of him towards the end of his career when he was a Seahawk. So
Next one. Okay, well, the next one none of us saw play, but there is a story behind this man, and we will try to educate you, but no, of course not. How dare I accept credit? Jerry Kramer. For those who do not know about Jerry Kramer was an offensive guard for the Packers during the Lombardi era. He also was a place kicker at points. He also was a kicker at some points, but he's mainly known as an offensive guard. They did a game. He was known back then as one of the toughest linemen in the game, one of the most reliable. One of the reasons that their double running back system with Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor, is it Jim Taylor? Yeah, I think it's Jim Taylor and Paul Hornung. The reason that worked so well was partly because of Jerry Kramer. And a few years ago, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the NFL, they had the 50th anniversary of the NFL game, which is a game where they pick the best person in NFL history at each position. Like, I forget, I don't know the exact, but I know like at quarterback they had Joe Montana, like shit like that. They pick a position and like create the dream teams. Every single member of that imaginary game is in the Hall of Fame except for Jerry Kramer. And that's kind of fascinating when you really think about it. Anyone else have anything to add?
You want me to go, kid? Or?
Yeah, sure. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah. For the reason that a lot of the starters on those Lombardi teams are in the Hall, guys like Bart Starr, and pretty much all of them are in the Hall. And for the reasons that the kid just said, it wasn't an all-century team. Is that what it's called? Yeah, it was the all-century team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's the only guy not in the Hall. That is ridiculous. This man should be in the Hall of Fame. Simple as that.
Phil, you got anything or?
No, you good.
All right. Next on the list is Andre Reed.
Okay. What I said about Chris Carter, just go down to third, and it's Andre Reed. So what the fuck? What the fuck? Yes, Yes, he should be in the Hall. The only reason he's not in the Hall is because people have that sting of those Super Bowl losses. You know what I mean? Because he did at least one, and he's been there all those times. And granted, he came up small in a few of those, or in all those games, right?
Well, the Bills, they never won a Super Bowl.
No, I'm just saying, like in those games, though, didn't he come up pretty small?
Yeah, his numbers, I think, for the last two were kind of weak. I'll look up the exact.
Yeah. So I guess that's on everyone's mind. But he's another guy with numbers at the time that you can make the argument he was the second best receiver in the league. I remember in the '90s, motherfuckers could not cover this dude. I remember this. Yeah, I remember. What's the name? Deion Sanders saying that he was one of the most dangerous receivers he ever had to cover. So I don't understand how this man isn't in the Hall of Fame. Deion Sanders is the best cover corner of all time, people. If y'all trying to argue somebody else, you're just wrong. And for Deion to say that, that's heavy praise. I don't get why this dude ain't in the Hall.
From what I know about Andre Reed, I very much agree. By the way, for the all anniversary team, the quarterback was Johnny Unitas, not Joe Montana.
Okay.
I made a mistake.
Either way.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. My uncle always told me that Marv Levy, if sorry about that.
Right?
Yeah. If Scott Norwood, if Marv Levy's Bills and if Scott Norwood makes a fucking field goal, Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas, and Jim Kelly get the respect that they deserve. My uncle to this day believes, and this man played European football. He really does believe that Jim Kelly was just as good as Tom Brady. He really legitimately believes that.
And I'll say to your uncle, I respect him because he played the game, but no, he's not. But go ahead.
He truly believes that Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, and Thurman Thomas were a force in the NFL for years and years, and because they never won a Super Bowl, they never get the credit they deserve, because, as we all know, history is written by the victors. You know, you don't remember. I think the 17-0 Patriots may get away with it, but it's as sad as it is, it's very true. I mean, no one remembers second place. I mean,
that is true.
Like, so no matter how talented Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas, and Jim Kelly were, I mean, Thurman Thomas, I think, is in the Hall now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Jim Kelly, I don't.
Jim Kelly's in the Hall. Kelly's in the Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember his speech. He's in the Hall.
Jim Kelly's in the Hall. But the fact that Thurman Thomas,
I'm not sure about Thurman Thomas, though.
Yeah, he is. He got in like 2 years ago. I specifically remember that.
I remember in the '90s he was the third best running back in the league. So. Yeah.
Trying to. Yeah, he was voted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame February 3rd, 2007.
Maybe I'm right about Kelly, though. I'm pretty sure I am.
Yeah, Jim Kelly's in. And
okay.
Not only is Jim Kelly in, but as is James Lofton, another receiver for the Bills. So the fact that Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, James Lofton are all in, but not on. I mean, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, and James Lofton are all in, but Andre Reed is not. That just doesn't make sense.
At all.
Next we get to Ken Stabler. Anyone else? Any specific comments?
That's the snake, right? Ain't that the snake?
Yep.
He has a nickname for his release. Put him in the Hall. I mean, like, just because he was an iconic figure for his time, it was kind of like, so I would say put him in just for that, to be honest with you.
It is, after all. Sorry to cut you off there. As Brian Alvarez said with the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, it is a Hall of Fame. That fame aspect should be important.
There you go.
And Super Bowl with the Raiders, made the 1970s All-Decade team, former NFL MVP, 4-time Pro Bowl, legitimate stats. Don't know why he's not in the Hall. Steve Tasker.
Numbers. Look at his numbers. Look at some of the guys that are in and look at his numbers. Dude should be in the Hall. Not much to say besides that. Dude should be in the Hall.
He actually, it's very similar to, it's funny how like the entire early 90s Buffalo Bills team has come up. Jim Kelly's, James Lofton, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed. Steve Tasker was a part of that crew too. And should be in the Hall. One of the best.
No, numbers are really, really similar to some of the other guys at that time.
Yeah. And they do say that Steve Tasker was the best non-kicker in special teams football history. A lot of people do believe that.
Look at Phil learning stuff. See, Phil's learning.
You gotta watch NFL Network. They have some great history channels that I used to watch all the time back in 9th and 10th grade.
Watch some of those old NFL yearbooks and all that.
Yeah,
shit like
they
that.
had some great shows. Next is Ray Guy. Ray Guy.
Tell the story, kid.
Ray Guy, everybody, is a punter. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, what the fuck? What is this punter doing in the Hall of Fame discussion? Ray Guy is considered by many to be the greatest punter in NFL history. He was a part of the Super Bowl winning Raiders teams in the 70s. I believe he has 3 rings. Ray Guy could legitimately pinpoint the ball anywhere in the field. This man could pin the ball like between the 5 and 1 yard line, like perfect precision, no matter where he was on the field. He never had a punt return for a touchdown, ever. Like in the history of his career.
Think about that for a second.
Yes.
Never.
Never had a punt return for a touchdown, ever. Like, not once, not twice, not like once a year. Never. 0 times. He had a record. He had a record of I believe he does have the record. Yeah, he has the record for most punts inside the 20-yard line. And he still has a streak of longest punts before getting one blocked. And like I said, never ever had a punt return for a touchdown. And he's on the NFL's 75th anniversary team as well. Yeah, this man, when you're considered the best, in my opinion, no matter what the position is, even if it's long snapper, in my opinion, if you are considered the best in your position ever, you should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care how
even long snapper, they only come on for like 2 plays a game.
I don't
know about that. I don't know about that. Well, I agree with that.
The long slapper, basically, I don't count place kickers because a lot of the place kickers are backup quarterbacks. Like, yeah, it's different. And there are some long snappers who are just linemen. Like, I'm talking guys who legitimately just have one job, one position. If you're considered the best in your position ever, you should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. No questions asked. So, yeah.
If you're the best defensive coordinator of all time, you should be in the Hall.
Yes.
Jim Johnson. All right, who's next?
Next is Jim Plunkett.
You'll see how I did that? But go ahead.
Yes. Jim Plunkett, for those who do not know, Jim Plunkett is the only quarterback in NFL history who to have 2 Super Bowl rings and to have 2 Super Bowl rings and not in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Well, not counting Eli Manning because he's still playing.
Yeah. He is a guy. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady because he's still playing too. Of course. Yeah, of course. There's Phil. But he should be in the Hall just for that reason, because if you're going to go by that logic, he should be in the Hall. Multiple Super Bowls, Hall of Fame. Terry Bradshaw's in the Hall because of 4 Super Bowls because he has very pedestrian numbers.
That is true.
So you should put him in the Hall.
Wait, didn't Bradshaw win 5?
No.
Not 4.
No one's won 5.
Okay.
No one's won 5.
Just 4. That's right. Okay.
And also a former Heisman Trophy winner. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
Eddie George.
He actually, Plunkett is considered one of the best college quarterbacks ever.
I actually didn't know that. Eddie George.
Who, Eddie? What'd you say? No, because, well, you want me to tell you why?
Yes.
Okay, because his career average yards per carry is what? Look it up.
I got it right here.
0.1.
3.6.
No. for that reason alone, no. That's considered. Isn't that considered bad?
Let's see. I'm looking at. I got the list of the league's leading rushers of all time or whatever. 3.6. I still don't see anybody as low as that.
Exactly.
The lowest outside of that is 3.9. John Riggins.
Who's in the Hall?
Really?
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Well, that's almost 4. But see, that's almost 4. So
Jerome Bettis also had 3.9.
I mean, but he was a short
yeah.
back anyway.
Right.
Eddie George was an every down back. I think that people were more so caught up on the fact that he was great at Ohio State. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had a lot of hype coming into the NFL, and people wanted him to be great so badly. And truth be told, he just carried the ball a lot. That's all. He carried the ball a lot. The thing was, he set up the play action for Steve McNair. Steve McNair was the guy on those Titans teams, to be honest, and the Oilers/Titan teams.
I agree.
That's another guy who's borderline Hall of Fame, in my opinion. But yeah, Eddie George, no, just for 3.6 yards a carry.
I mean, I say no too. Mainly because especially after looking at this list and seeing, I thought he was a little bit higher than this, but apparently he's not. He's 24th on all-time leading rushers, which doesn't say much because two running backs above him is Thomas Jones. So, I mean, I don't know if that's, but if you get up, I mean, you got to look at, you can't put every running back that rushes for a certain amount of yards in the fame. And there's
I think it's more so impact. I mean, Gale Sayers only played for 5 years, but he's in the Hall because he was fucking unstoppable.
Right.
I mean, Eddie George was far from unstoppable.
And I mean, there's like I was going to say, there's 3 people above him that are not in the Hall of Fame that are eligible, that have more yards, so and a better average.
Who are you talking about?
Tiki Barber, Corey Dillon, and Ricky Waters, which we talked about.
Corey Dillon is a dude that I would say maybe possibly Hall of Fame.
I can understand.
All because, but he played for the Bengals for a long time.
Yeah, he did.
Which makes it hard.
He got his ring with New England.
And so but I would seriously argue Corey Dillon for the Hall, to be honest with you. How many yards per carry did he have? Around
4.3. 4.3.
Yeah. See, so Eddie George, just for that reason, no. What do you?
Say it again.
What do you think?
I always thought he was not really. Like, it's borderline. Like, it's no. He's almost a borderline candidate, but in my opinion, he's not a borderline candidate. He's a no.
He's borderline, but that's
borderline. He's borderline.
It's a no, though. It's a no. Like, it's like Vince McMahon, 1.22 million buys for WrestleMania, rounds up to 1.25, which rounds up to 1.3, so it did 1.3 million buys. No.
No.
You said that?
Yeah. 1.22 million rounds up to 1.25, which therefore rounds up to 1.3. So it's 1.3.
Oh, man. Oh, I love you guys. Who's there?
Kevin Green.
I say yes because of the Hall of Fame argument we had before. The man appeared in WCW. To be honest, though, he was one of the most intimidating defenders for his time. You know what I mean? How many defensive player of the year? Ain't it 2?
Two, I think. Let me look it up.
Something like that. He was to be honest with you, he was like one of those guys. He reminded me of like a Zach Thomas type of guy, except just in a different type, because he was always around the ball. Maybe not necessarily the biggest plays, but he was always around the fucking ball. So, Kevin Green, just watching him, the eye test, I hadn't seen many defensive players like him. Even though I only saw, I was young then, but still, he was like one of my favorite players when I was younger.
And next is I think he's the only player in the NFL to have 5 rings. Charles Haley. He played for the Niners during Montana's run, and then as soon as that ended, he went to the Cowboys for their 90 sprawl, and then back to the Niners later in his career. But 5 Super Bowl rings. considered one of the best defensive ends in a long, long time.
Yes,
I think he should.
Yes.
Oh, he went to James Madison. That's awesome.
Like he should clearly be in the Hall. 5 rings. If that ain't enough, then a lot of people have stories about Chuck Haley. So yeah.
Next is Terrell Davis.
See, this is a hard one. This is a very, very, very hard one because he played for a short amount of time. Remember when I brought up Gale Sayers?
Yeah.
It's a similar type of impact. I mean, 2 rings, 2,000-yard season. For a while, people were saying he was, on pace to, if he kept running the way he was running, to be the best ever. He had, in my opinion, probably the best season ever. It's so hard. Like, he is so, and I know it's like Kurt Warner. When Kurt Warner comes up, it'll be the same thing. I say yes, but maybe not immediately. You know what I mean? Because in 1998, he was absolutely incredible. I know it's just one season. In 97, he was great too. And just after that, injuries and things like that, he was forced to retire. He is so close. He is just so, like, it can go either way here. Seriously.
Phil?
I agree with everything you said, pretty much. From what I saw, I remember him in '98. I actually do remember that, and he was a beast. So.
And one more that I'm adding on here just for shits and giggles. Jason Taylor.
Oh God! Because we was talking about this earlier. To be honest with you, I would say yes, but I can understand if someone would say no because aside from like one season, sorry kid, I hate to burst your bubble, but aside from one season, he was never considered the best defensive player in the league. And you could argue, you could make the case he was not even the best defensive end in the league. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I would say yes just because of the Pro Bowl selections and his numbers in general. And the fact he was good. He was good for a long time. So I would say yes, but he is another borderline dude.
I think it's gonna be he's gonna be on the ballot for a long time whenever if he ever gets on it. I don't know if he'll ever get in.
Like see, when I talk about like Terrell Davis like being borderline, it's because like if you think about it, he didn't play that long, but he made such an impact. You know what I mean? Jason Taylor did not make the same impact.
Right.
Sorry, kid.
Man, fuck you guys.
But I would put him in though. He's just borderline.
And Zach Thomas?
Zach, that's another dude, man. He was consistent for a long time, man. I don't know.
He was a beast he definitely in the Dolphin Hall of Fame.
He will.
I don't know, man. He was consistent for a long time.
He made the Pro Bowl 7 times.
Quit bringing up the Pro Bowl.
All right.
How many times Mike Vick made the Pro Bowl? I'm bringing up the Pro Bowl.
Let me see, actually. Michael Vick is a 4-time Pro Bowler.
Ridiculous! We just said he only had 2 good seasons. What is wrong with people? What is wrong with you people? You fast voted him into the Pro Bowl 4 times? Really? Turnover? He hasn't been healthy 4 times. So how can you? Oh my God! Let's just move on.
All right. Now we get into our predictions for the week with the NCAA and with the NFL. A lot of interesting matchups this week in both football leagues. So we'll start off with the NFL like we did last time. One interesting game that Phil wanted to talk about, and I'll let him start off. The Colts and the Jets.
Okay, a lot of people are gonna be like, "Really? Did you really just say the Colts and the Jets as a big game?" Listen, we all know how the Jets are struggling. Who knows if they'll even finish over 500 at this rate? And which that's an argument in itself. But then you have the Colts who won a big game against the Green Bay Packers. Regardless of what you may think about who they are, they're not the same team as they were last year. That's clear. But regardless of what you think of the Packers this year, that has to be considered a big win for them. And I know it was a big emotional win because of their head coach and he's got cancer, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Chuck Pagano.
So I mean, you know,
and Andrew Luck balled too.
Yeah, and Andrew Luck and Reggie Wayne.
Oh God!
I had to throw that in there.
You want to bring up Victor Cruz's 3 touchdowns last week while you're at it?
3 touchdowns.
Get 3 touchdowns.
In 1 quarter. I'm bringing up 2.
Who cares about touchdown? Whatever. All right. Anyway,
whatever. What you mean, whatever?
I'm just.
You weren't saying that Randy Moss had 23. You weren't saying that then.
No, I don't want to get into that. That's not what we were talking about.
All right, anyway, continue.
You know, I think the Colts. This could be a statement game for the Colts. I think, you know, if they didn't make a statement last week. And the Jets offense, I mean, that Colts offense is leagues above them, even though they don't have a running game.
We're calling them an offense. We're calling them when the Jets have the ball. We're not going to use the word offense.
No, I'm talking about Indy. Indy offense is better.
Yeah, I was about to say, because the Jets have an offense.
Get-together thing. And why they apparently aren't even, I mean, I don't like T.O., but how you not even at least try to, like, offer him something? I mean, you got nobody on that team. But anyways, and then the Colts schedule is not hard. After New York, if they win that game against New York, they're now 3-2, and then they get who I said is the worst team in the league, Cleveland Browns. Then you got Tennessee. That's a division game. I'm not saying they're all division games are close, but you know it's still a division game.
They're hard.
And you got Miami. Then you got Miami, Jacksonville, and then they go to New England, Buffalo. I mean, Detroit. We don't know what they'll be at that point. You know, they don't. You know, they don't.
No, we know. We know they'll suck.
Well, I'm just throwing that. I'm trying to be neutral with that, but but at the rate they're going, that could be easy. You know, Colts could win that game. So I mean, I just think that you know, if they can beat the Jets, they don't beat the Jets, then I might a little bit worried because the Jets are just awful, and their defense isn't great either. So, but as they plays with a coin or something. But I got the Colts winning this game. I do want to make this since this is a pick game. I just want to let it be known. I've got the Colts winning this game.
What if Rex Ryan announces tonight that Tim Tebow is named the starter?
I was just going to say that.
I said earlier.
If Tebow plays,
if Tebow starts,
I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Even a moment right there.
But if Tim Tebow plays, I really have no idea who's going to win this game because we already know, the boy can't throw the ball. We know that, but we also know that Mark Sanchez.
Good. Remember, you're supposed to say that.
Oh, whatever. We already know the boy can't throw the goddamn ball. We already know that, and we already know Sanchez can't really throw unless he's given time either. You know what I mean? And he has not been given any time. Which means you need a guy to be able to improvise because he doesn't have any time. So he needs to be able to improvise. Tim Tebow can do that, which gives them at this point a better chance to win, which makes them a better team. And am I saying that with them being better, like just by Tim Tebow being able to improvise, are they better than the Colts now? I don't know, because Andrew Luck last week, and I told y'all, the boy can play. He's godlike. He'll be 5 years from now, he'll be the best in the game, as I told y'all. But you know, if he just keeps up that momentum, I don't know. I'm kind of on the bandwagon. You know what I mean, if he plays and just gains more and more momentum, y'all will see. But you know, I'm picking the Colts. But if they play Tebow, I'm picking the Jets. So
I thought the same thing.
It all depends on if Tebow plays.
No, he has to start, not just play. He has to start.
I'm not even saying start. Let's say first half Sanchez is awful. Second half they play Tebow. I think they'll win.
That's true.
Like if it's close, I think they'll win.
I agree.
I actually agree with both of you. I would actually contribute some commentary, but goddamn it, I'm just a host.
One more thing I want to say. I think Mark Sanchez was set up to fail, though, by management.
Yep.
Because they put nothing around him. And they knew they had problems on offense all over. And they put nothing at all around him. I think he was set up to fail. I think the owner wants Tebow to play, and Rex Ryan does not.
Yep, I agree.
And that's not fair at all. Because I do believe in terms of having an arm, maybe not having a brain, but in terms of having an arm and being accurate, Mark Sanchez is just stupid. He can play quarterback. We've seen it in the AFC title game. You know what I mean? Well, not in title, but in the playoffs. You know what I mean? We've seen it in the playoffs. The dude can play quarterback. He's just stupid. And I think they just put nothing around him. So I think they wanted this to be an issue. They wanted to give them a reason for Mark Sanchez to fail so he can play Tebow. I really believe that.
There were rumors by Incarcerated Bob, the god of Twitter, look him up, at Incarcerated Bob, that when the Jets got Tebow, they actually were looking for trade options for Sanchez, but no one was interested because it's Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez.
I'm going to pick the Colts as well. I just think they got a lot of momentum right now, and I think Andrew Luck. I don't think the buck stops here. I don't think that last week was an anomaly. I mean, people seem to forget. People say, "Oh, Green Bay isn't that good." That team was down 21-3. I don't care who you're playing.
Hold on, kid. Did you just say I don't think the luck stops here? Is that what you said?
I said the buck, but
I'm about to say, what a terrible pun. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
A lot of people pointing out, "Oh, Green Bay is faltering from their previous 2 years." The Colts were still fucking down 21-3. 21-3. And Andrew Luck, wow, that was godlike, as Markheem said. So I have a little more faith in the Colts train. I really do think, like I said, that Colts-Dolphin game, I'm telling you, winner of that game is probably going to get the second wild card spot. I really, really am starting to believe that. But we'll get there when we get there. But for now, I'll take the Colts as well. Next we got Dallas and Baltimore.
Who wants to go first? You want to go first, Phil?
Why are we talking about this game?
He went first.
Yeah, Phil, go ahead. Go ahead off that. Go ahead.
Why? I mean, obviously I know why, but let's just no. Dallas is my Philly for Markheem. No, I'm tired of Dallas even being in the talks of anything. Yes, I'm the opposite of Skip Bayless. He loves him some Dallas, but no. If the Ravens lose to Dallas, which I know they had a tough game somehow, I didn't watch the game, but they had a tough game against the Chiefs last week. I don't know exactly why they had a tough game, but anyone that maybe got to see that can tell me why. But if they lose to Dallas after they beat us, I'm gonna be mad.
You throw something to that?
Here's my water bottle.
You got anything else to say, Phil?
I'm over this America's team bullcrap Dallas. They call me when they do something.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. I would say your boys of America's team to nail at this point.
Thank you.
To be honest with you, but I just want to say this: which Tony Romo will show up? I'm curious. Will we get the guy we got in Week 1, the guy we got most of last year, or the guy we saw against the Bears? Which guy will show up? If we get the guy we saw in Week 1 or against or last season, then I am picking the Cowboys. Would you guys like to know why?
Why?
Because the Ravens this year, even though they've been solid on defense, the one thing, and look it up, they have been getting killed for big plays. Big plays are just all over for them. That's their problem. They give up yards because they give up way too many big plays. You know what I mean? They get stops, but they give up a lot of big plays.
Right.
And Dallas has a lot of speed. If you saw DeMarco Murray, even though he's very inconsistent, speed. You know what I mean? Is Dez Bryant playing? He playing, right?
He should be, yeah.
Speed. Miles Austin, maybe not speed, but consistent. You know what I mean? They give up big plays. So if Tony Romo plays well, I would pick Dallas, to be honest with you. I just have no faith in him playing well, so I'm picking the Ravens.
Yeah, I think I've got the Ravens.
He did just throw for 5 interceptions and is coming off a bye week. I'd like to think that he's mentally pissed off. I'm actually going to go with that.
Even though, let me just say this. I will say this. Not all 5 of those were his fault. Some of them were tipped. But
he still played bad.
He still played bad, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
But I would say we're talking mentally with Tony Romo. The kid, that just goes out the window. Mental, Tony Romo? No. It all just goes out the window.
I do agree that
for being a mentally weak star, well, I don't think any are more mentally weak than Tony Romo in all of sports.
Even Chad Henne?
I said star. Chad Henne's not a star.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys in the upset because I really don't. I think we're going to get the Cowboys of Week 1. They're coming off a bye week. They're obviously very frustrated. I think the Ravens the past 2 weeks have not inspired a lot of confidence into their ability to not fucking. I mean, they gave goddamn Brandon Weeden the best game of his life. Like,
yeah, big plays kill them, man. I don't know what's going on.
That's why I think. That's why I'm starting Kevin Ogletree this week. I actually think he'll return back to. I'm expecting a Week 1 Cowboys with Week 1 production, so I'm going with the Cowboys in the upset. But we'll see next week. Patriots and Seahawks. Interesting.
I'll go first because I know Phil's just gonna gush over this boy. The Seahawks have a very good defense. The thing is, here's the thing. Here's the key. They have to make Tom Brady play not Tom Brady like. Like, they have to get to him and get to him often. If it doesn't happen, he's going to score a lot. And the Seahawks cannot score as much as the Patriots. I'm going with the Patriots because I think they'll defend Brady. I don't think that the pass, even though I do like Seattle's pass rush, I think that New England has probably the best O-line in the game, and I think that they'll be able to block for him. So I do think the Patriots will win by at least a touchdown, to be honest.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
Oh, man. Anyways, okay, well, last week I was very, very, very proud of my Patriots. Just wanted to throw that out there for the way they played against Denver. And I want to say another thing about Peyton in that game, just real quick. That dude's freaking unbelievable to watch. But anyways, so yeah, but I don't know how many people actually watched that game because it was I was surprised that wasn't a Sunday night game. But anyways, you know, if the Patriots keep playing the way that I mean, they're playing no huddle or they played no huddle in that game for anyone that doesn't know. But it was even the announcers were saying it was beyond the no huddle. It was that fast. The Broncos defense had no clue what was going on. Now that could be the Broncos defense, and it made it look better than it really is. But if the Patriots keep that up, and I'm not just this, I mean, maybe this is just fanboying me, whatever. But you know, that offense that could be unstoppable the way they were playing. Now they can get stopped. When I say unstoppable, I just mean like for the whole game. Can you stop them enough in the game to win the game, and can you also score? Or you have to also score a good bit too, which is the main concern with New England is their defense. The only concern I have about this week against Seattle is the travel. I think Trey Wingo tweeted this. He said it's the second longest possible travel for any team outside of Miami going to. I think Miami was number one. Miami going to Seattle would be the longest trip for an NFL team. So I have a little concern there, but you know, Bill Belichick shouldn't he should have that team good. So I ain't worried about it. But
that was genius though. Go ahead, Phil. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
But anyway, you got anything else?
No, I was just gonna say I think New England wins this. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's close. I don't want to hear people saying, "Oh, Seattle." But you know,
my thing earlier.
Hold on, kid. I wanted to add something.
Okay.
Bill Belichick is a genius because the no huddle was perfect to do against Denver. Because I heard you clap, Phil, but
no, that wasn't a clap. That was a bottle. I wasn't clapping.
It was perfect to do against Denver because if you've seen Denver play all year, especially the Atlanta game, the secondary is weak. You know what I mean? They look confused out there. They don't know what to do.
Outside of Bailey. Champ Bailey's still.
Yeah, it's Champ Bailey, right. Hall of Famer. But they ramped it up to the point where they were just totally confused. They had no idea what to do. And I think that was just him watching the tape saying, "Oh, they kind of suck out there. So let's just exploit that so they don't have a chance to get set. They don't have a chance to talk to each other or anything. And we're just gonna go down the field when we feel like it." So yeah, that was genius. Genius.
I agree.
My whole thing about the NFL being competitive, aside from the Steelers, another great example I think is the Seahawks. I mean, look at what lose to the Cardinals, destroy the Cowboys, lose/win against the Packers, lose to the Rams,
lose/win. That's funny.
lose to the Packers, beat the Packers, lose to the Rams, beat the Panthers. Vinny of the Vincent Verhey, he does a football podcast every week that I listen to. And he's from Seattle, so he knows his team very well. And he said a great line, I think, that describes the Seahawks. He said they could beat or lose to anybody in the NFL, and it honestly wouldn't surprise me at this point. Like, it's that unpredictable with them. Like, they're just at that level. They're like a game. They're at that like 9-7 level where it makes sense for them to beat the top teams, and it's not as embarrassing if they lose to some of the bottom teams. And I think it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. I would go out on a limb and pick the Seahawks, but then I'd be called a hater. But I do think Brandon, I'm trying to remember his fucking name. Brandon, what the fuck is his name? What?
You talking about on New England?
No, on
Seattle.
Fucking Seattle. Brandon, what the fuck is this guy's name? Actually, no, this is going to drive me crazy. I'm sorry. Yes, this is how professional we are. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to stop recording. I'm really going to go to the Seattle's roster and check this out because this will drive me insane. What the fuck is this guy's name? I just saw him make a great play against Carolina. Brandon. Let me just check the depth chart. I appreciate the help, by the way.
I mean, I have no idea.
Brandon Browner. Fuck. Their cornerback.
Oh,
Brandon
okay.
Browner.
Right.
He is apparently I saw this man fucking murder Carolina. You cannot run the ball in this team, like, at all. Like, they're up there with the Dolphins as far as best run defenses. But Brandon Browner, he just attacks anybody in front of the line. Quarterback, running back, it doesn't matter. He's just vicious. And that's why they're saying that the Seattle defense, it's just really fun to watch. I mean, because look what Aaron Rodgers, say what you want about the Packers, but even Aaron Rodgers couldn't fucking score on these guys. The Packers may be inconsistent, but one thing they can do is they can score. Look at all their other games. Against the Colts, they put up 27. Against the Saints, they put up 28. Against the Niners, they even put up like 15 or 20. Like, against the Seahawks, they could only put up 12. This is a tough defense.
And that's a good point too. Is I think I heard somewhere like New England's scoring is leading the league in scoring in the last 3 weeks or something like that.
Exactly.
Or last 2 weeks.
That's why it's interesting. I mean, this is
right. You're right.
This is going to be interesting. It's going to be. I'm very curious. I'm going to go with the Patriots just out of, normality. But the way they played against the Cardinals, don't be surprised. I'm saying if Seattle wins, don't call it an upset because it really isn't. It's just
the NFC fucking West, dog. That division, great.
Yep, without question.
Yep.
Best division in football. No arguments anymore. Next game, the Giants and the 49ers. Probably the biggest game of the week. Markheem, start us off.
Oh my God. I'm gonna say Niners. All because they are home. And that is mainly the only reason. However, if it is close and Eli Manning has the ball at the end of the game, I am going with the Giants. But I'll say Niners though, as long as they got to control the clock, and Alex Smith has been playing well. Like, he's the top rated quarterback in the league going by QB rating. So he has a ton of weapons. So they kind of mask him being, not that talented, because I don't think he's that talented, to be honest. So I think they'll win.
I don't know if I can't say that they will play like this, but it seems like they would be mad and about what, a lot of people said arguably, outside of two can't hold on to the ball, fumbles on returns. They should have been the Super Bowl.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you for bringing that up.
So they could be mad. They could be furious, and the fans could be furious. They could be wanting to win this game even more than anything. So, but will they come out like that? I can't say they will, but I do have the 49ers winning this game. One, like you said, because it's home, and two, I just think after that loss, that might be they might feel like, well, they don't probably feel like this, but they may not get back to the NFC Championship. Not saying they won't, but they might not. So, this could be a big game for them.
I'll say this: Eli Manning. I think there should be no arguments here, aside from Tim Tebow. I'm kidding. Eli Manning is the most clutch quarterback in the NFL. He has the record for most fourth quarter game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. I think him and Tebow were tied, but I'll give the nod to Manning. Eli, but even
yeah. Too bad he's bad 45 minutes of the game.
But all he does is win. All he does is win games.
Oh God.
So basically, but my point is, Eli, if you watch that Niners game in the playoffs, I mean, Eli couldn't get anything done on these guys. Their only touchdown, their touchdown was because the Niners cornerback and safety ran into each other, and he knocked both going for an interception, and the cornerback got knocked out of the game, and his replacement came in, and Eli Manning threw a slant off Victor Cruz off the replacement. But like in the fourth quarter.
And another, hold on, I hate to cut you off, kid. I know I keep doing that, but another thing I wanted to bring up about the NFC Championship game is if Alex Smith gets in the end zone one time, exactly. Goes, they win. So it's no overtime, no nothing. They win.
Yes.
So wanted to throw that out there.
My point was that Eli Manning couldn't get anything done against this team. As good as he is, his ability to make a game-winning drive, no matter what the team is, I mean, he just couldn't do it against these guys. They were too tough for him. And honestly, I mean, if the Eagles' defense was too much for the Giants to handle, I think the Niners will be even worse. I'm predicting a Niners win here. I'm very excited for that game, though. Minnesota and Washington.
You want to go first, Phil? You want me to go?
I'll go first. I don't know. I don't know when we'll ever get a true test for Minnesota. I don't know if that's. I don't call this a true test to know whether or not they're legit or not. I'm going to look at the schedule in a minute, but this game, RG3, from what I hear, is going to play. I really don't know. My gut says the Vikings, but it would shock me either way, and I think it could be close. I don't know. And looking at I am looking at their schedule. The Vikings, as far as a real test, I don't know. At Green Bay, I don't know.
I mean, but they did beat the Niners.
Week 16. I mean, that's long though. You know,
it did beat the Niners. To be fair,
yeah,
they did. Two at that time. I think all of us had them as the best team in the league at that time. We still do, but
man, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm still not sold though. I want to be just. I don't know, because this is the Vikings. I mean, it's the same team from last year. The exact same, isn't it? The exact same squad. Same squad. It's so
healthy. Yeah.
I mean, this is the oddest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like this team has no business being 4-1 right now. It's no business. But I'm going with them. Though. I can't believe I'm saying that. But I just think Christian Ponder, for some odd reason, has been playing very Alex Smith-like. Like last year, he's the only quarterback in the league with no turnovers, I think. Something like that. Some crazy stat like that. Would you have thought Christian Ponder would be that guy?
Nope.
I guess I would go with them. But, man, this is crazy. So I'm going with the Vikings in a close game. I think RG3 will make it interesting.
The Dolphins, I could have told you from the start of the season, would be playing like they're playing now. The fucking.
Oh my God! You had to throw that in there, didn't you, kid?
I'm trying to make a point.
Go ahead.
The Vikings, I don't even think the Minnesota diehards could have predicted this. I think the people that really know the ins and outs of this team are just like, what? We're 4-1? What the fuck is this? And, like, it's very weird because, like, they beat Detroit, Tennessee, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville. Actually, no, they lost it. That's their only loss to the Colts, by the way.
That's crazy.
Like, it's just, again, it's like what I've been saying. This is another example. Put them with the Seahawks, put them with the Steelers. The most competitive year for the NFL. They beat the Niners, but their only loss is to the Colts. Like, they almost lost to the Jaguars in overtime. I don't know what to say. I think we'll see more out of the Vikings late in the season when the Bears and the Packers and teams like that. Yeah, they still have to play the Bears twice and the Packers twice, and the Seahawks and the Cardinals. Houston week 16. So which could mean something for the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are going to have something sealed up by then. Hey,
I don't know, man. The way it's looking, maybe. Who knows?
They do have Washington, Arizona, Tampa Bay three straight. So. I mean, Arizona's arguably whatever. But.
This is just tough. I don't know. I'm going to say Minnesota just because Washington, you don't know what you're going to get with them. You know, I mean, they're just...
They're going to give up a lot of points. We know that.
Yeah. Yep. So, I'll pick the Vikings, I guess. Green Bay and Houston.
I got Houston, to be honest with you. Too physical. J.J. Watt is going to throw around... go throw around Aaron Rodgers, because you look at it. Wow, I couldn't remember his name. It's my favorite player. What the fuck? But anyway, he's gonna throw him around. If you saw what the Seahawks did to him, you know it's going to be something similar. Double team, triple team, it doesn't matter. He's unstoppable right now. I expect them to have at least 2 sacks this game, and I expect them to win by at least a touchdown. I really don't think it's going to be that competitive, especially when Green Bay doesn't run the ball at all. So, you know, I got the Texans.
This matchup is interesting. One is Houston's, you know, like we talked about earlier, could be Houston's first real test outside of well, I can't think of
Denver.
Oh, Denver, right. So I mean, this could be, and then Green Bay. I mean, they after losing to Indy, you know, how do they come out in this game? How does Aaron Rodgers come out and play in this game? I just don't think. I gotta pick Green Bay in this game, actually. I think it's gonna be close. But I just think Green Bay, it's all up to me. J.J. Watt doesn't give me any time to throw, then you know I'll look stupid with this pick. But I like the Packers to win this game. I think it's Sunday Night Football. It's a big game, and Houston's had big games before. I'm not saying they haven't, but I think Green Bay knows they have to win this, and they're gonna go out there and win it. It's gonna be close though.
If J.J. Watts prevents them from throwing the ball accurately, this team is fucked. This team will lose by more than 2 touchdowns. If the only... Because they don't run the ball. We've been over this. They don't run the ball at all. Like, at all. And if J.J. Watts gets like 2 or 3 interceptions out of Aaron Rodgers, there's just no way. There's just no way. Like, it's just,
agreed.
I don't see it. But, hey, I could be wrong. We'll see. I'll say the Texans.
My gut, like I said, my gut just is
saying the gut is king. The gut is king. Denver and San Diego.
I got. Oh, you want to go first, Phil? Or you want me to go?
Oh, no, go ahead.
I got the Broncos. I still don't trust San Diego. I just don't. Phillip Rivers is a lot better this season though, and I think it'll be close. But I just don't trust him, and I think Peyton Manning is due to just go crazy. So yeah, I think he's gonna go crazy this week. To be honest, I think it's gonna be ridiculous what he does to them.
I agree. I think Peyton won his last 2 games. He hasn't thrown a single interception after throwing, and I think all his interceptions I think came in that one game against the Falcons. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
All in the first half.
Yeah, all the first half of that game. Outside of that, he hasn't thrown a pick. So I mean, you can't. Peyton Manning is playing some great ball, and after watching him play again against New England, and and knowing how I was scared, I ain't gonna lie. I was scared of Denver. I'm scared of him. Like I was like when we went for it on 4th, and everybody's freaking out like, why aren't you punting? I'm like, no, go for it. Get the first down. I was like, I don't want to punt it to Peyton Manning. I don't care where we give him the ball. Like, no. Peyton Manning is like, if you don't realize this now, that man's scary. Like that dude can manage the game, and I love Brady, but that man can manage the game like no other.
It's like they say. It's like they say. As long as you have Peyton Manning, you have a chance, no matter what.
I mean, look at the Colts. I mean, people say, "Oh, well, the Colts sucked as soon as he left." I mean, that's because he was that team. I mean, that was it's that simple. I mean, and I picked the Chargers to win this division before the season, but I'm going to go with it.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
I had the Broncos win a wild card. I don't know if the Chargers can win the division now. We'll see. This is a huge game to determine that. But I got the Broncos winning this. I'm with Markheem. Peyton Manning, the way he's playing now, and what he, if he has better than what he's playing already, good luck, Chargers. Because I know our defense. I like our defense is young, but I was scared.
I also think that Peyton Manning realizes that his team is 2-3, And I think he also realizes that his team is legitimately one of the best teams in the NFL. And I think it's going to be a wreckage. I'm predicting more than 14-point victory in this game. By the way, let me also say to all you curious listeners out there that want to listen to a fantasy football guru, your glorious host has been telling everyone all summer, don't draft a quarterback in the first round. It's a waste. You could get a high-quality quarterback in the 5th and 6th round who will give you just as much production. And everybody laughed at me. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, you have these guys, you automatically go all the way. I drafted Peyton Manning in the 6th round in 2 leagues, including one league that plays for a grand. And Peyton Manning is right now the number 3 quarterback in fantasy, only behind Matt Ryan and I think Drew Brees. I'd actually have to check. Behind one of those two. But yeah, 6th round. And because, I know my shit and I know how to outsmart everybody. Because I'm so great, of course.
Oh, God.
Sorry. I'm not as great as my Dolphins. Super Bowl champs this year.
Oh, okay. All right,
we're done.
Next.
All right. I have the Chargers by large numbers. NCAA.
Yeah, the Chargers? You mean Broncos?
Broncos. NCAA, Texas, Oklahoma. Markheem.
Texas was exposed last week. The secondary is not very good. The line is great, though, man. They actually made Geno Smith turn the ball over twice. Granted, they were fumbles, but, I feel like Oklahoma has a slightly better offensive line than West Virginia. Only slightly. I know a lot of people disagree with that. But and I believe that Landry Jones will go crazy like he did last week. And I think it'll be close, though. I think Oklahoma will win a very high-scoring game.
I don't really have a comment on this game.
I really don't have a comment either. Stanford, Notre Dame.
I'm not picking against Notre Dame again. I've learned my lesson. Even though I like Stanford better, I believe if somehow Stephon Taylor, he has to get it going. I don't think that I forget his name, but Humes or something like that. The Matt Ryan, the Andrew Luck replacement. That's what I'm gonna call him. I don't think that he can be relied upon to throw in this game. So I think Stephon Taylor's gonna have to give them balance. If he can't get it going, they don't stand a chance. I got Notre Dame.
Yeah, I got Notre Dame too. I did like Stanford in that upset over USC. I learned a lot from them, but then when they lost to Washington, I don't know.
I mean, Washington was at home though, and it's
right.
That's the nature of college.
Right. But I'm with you. I'm not picking against Notre Dame.
Stanford is a good team though.
They are. Yeah, right.
They'll be in it at the end. I will not pick against Notre Dame again. Not all year. I don't give a fuck who they play.
Notre Dame versus Alabama.
What if they played each other? If that was the national title game?
Yeah.
Is you asking? You know what? To be honest with you, I pick Notre Dame. I'm not picking against them anymore. Even though I think Alabama's clearly better, I'm still not picking against them.
All right. LSU and South Carolina. Interesting game.
Oh man. First thing I want to say, South Carolina is a different team away from Williams-Brice people. I think that they are a really, really talented team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. As I said, Jadeveon Clowney is one part Reggie White, one part Bruce Smith, aggression-wise Ray Lewis, to be honest with you. I think I've not seen a defensive prospect like that in a long time. I think whenever he comes out, he will clearly be the best player in the draft whenever he decides he wants to come. He can't come out this year, but if he comes out next year, clearly the best. But I don't know, because Les Miles, I don't know his record after a loss, but I can't imagine he's happy with the way his offense played. I know he's going to have some tricks up his sleeve. I still feel like he's top 2, top 3 coach in college football. Death Valley is still Death Valley, still one of the toughest places to play. I'm going with LSU, but if South Carolina wins, I do think they can beat anyone if they win, but I'm going with LSU because I think Les Miles is angry, and I think that he will not accept anything less than perfection from these boys on Saturday. So.
I definitely have something to say about this game. Like I said, I didn't expect South Carolina to do what they did against Georgia. They never do that. I think this is a test for South Carolina, a huge test. To go, like he said, on the road. They're not the same. They aren't the same team at home versus the road. And it's going to be tough to go into Death Valley and win. But I'm picking the Gamecocks. I think this might finally be the year. I don't know. They probably going to go lose to Florida next week. But I'm going to pick them to beat LSU. I don't know how. I think it'll be close, but I thought Georgia was going to be close too. So I don't know. But after just a little bit I've seen from LSU, Gamecocks are the better team, and they better go out there and win. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, they are. They are the best. Especially on the offensive side of the ball, they're definitely the best. I think defensively, they're about equal. Right. I think offensively, South Carolina has more weapons, no big playmakers. Marcus Lattimore, to me, still the best running back in the country. So I think LSU will win solely because of Les Miles. I'm not saying Spurs a slouch, but right. Solely because of Les Miles.
Arkansas and Kentucky.
The only reason we're talking about this game is because Arkansas being so bad is every week is going to be a big deal. Will they win, will they lose? Because they are awful. Kentucky is really, 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 really bad, though. Tyler Wilson's going to light them up. They're going to win by at least 3 touchdowns.
How sure are you?
How sure am I? I'd be willing to bet on that.
What's the score of Arkansas versus Notre Dame?
Oh, Notre Dame will kill them, but...
Okay. Next we get, because I always have to throw this in there, UM and North Carolina.
This is a big game for both squads. North Carolina physically dominated my Hokies. Now, we're going to get to them motherfuckers, but we physically dominated my Hokies in all aspects of the game. When we scored, we couldn't stop them. When it started to get kind of, is it going to be close? It was garbage time, and they just pulled away from us. It was a high-scoring game, but, that shows North Carolina can put up points. UM's coming off a loss. It's a road game. It's a, conference game. It is very important to both teams. But I think Morris will be the difference. And I expect him to play extremely well, and they'll win. I don't know how much. Don't ask me to spread, but they'll win. They'll get it done.
I am actually going to this game. Part of the reason why I came home this weekend was because this weekend had a Hurricanes game and a Dolphins game, both at home, the same weekend. So I thought it would be fitting for me to come home now, and I'm very excited. Very excited. I think it's a very important game for UM. I think very similar to how the Georgia Tech game and North Carolina and the NC State games. I really think this is a game where they need to show everyone that they can bounce back. I mean, they bounced back pretty well after getting humiliated the last time. Hopefully, they can show something. Morris is really, really playing beyond what I had anticipated. At least I figured he would be good, but I didn't think that.
Not this quick.
Yeah,
not this.
Exactly. I was expecting this to be like his senior year. Like, this is crazy, but he's playing really well. And hey, I'm gonna go to the game and I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Finally, Duke and your Virginia Tech Hokies.
You didn't make your pick though. You didn't make your pick.
God damn you! I'm gonna pick UM out of blind loyalty. I seriously.
I mean, they're better though. So I
think honestly
was better.
Based on how we played against NC State and Georgia Tech, I honestly would be shocked if I would honestly be pretty surprised if any team in the ACC besides FSU beats us at this point. I honestly believe that. Duke.
What's the last game?
Duke and Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech Duke, right?
Yeah.
we will lose. Logan Thomas is awful. He's just, there's no more inconsistent. There's no more, oh, he shows flashes. No, he is not a good quarterback. Hey, you want an example of how weak the NFL draft is in terms of quarterbacks this year? A lot of motherfuckers have Logan Thomas ranked as the second best quarterback in the nation. A lot of insiders, a lot of experts do. If this is the second best in the nation, this is awful. He is not very good, and we need him to be good because we don't have a running game right now. There's no communication on defense. We've given up more than 30 points the past 2 weeks. We are not very good. I'm losing faith in the Hokies doing anything more than 6-6, 7-5 this year. This will be one of the worst years we've had in a long time. And I really believe Duke, playing the more physical brand of football, the play action is there, will confuse us and will actually win this game. And it's at Lane Stadium, I think, and we will still lose. Yeah.
With that, we are done. This week, I'm sorry that we couldn't do it last week. I didn't write them down. This week, I will write down all our predictions, and last week we'll actually try to see how we did. Maybe get, see who's doing well, who's not doing well, all that sort of jazz. We hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for everyone who stayed the full 2 hours again. We really appreciate our fan base. But hey, our first 2-hour video was the most viewed video of this entire series, so who knows? So with that, I'm Big Rat J310 Crawford. Thank you all very much. With my two guests.
You got Stephen A. Baller.
And yours truly, Bill Bayless.
Thank you all for everything. Goodbye.